always late. But you know what? You just started live streaming. I mean, it's just 8:31. People aren't watching the screen for too long, right?
Well, yeah. What I want to do is I want to now let's start sharing and
Let me see something.
something else I want to do is I want to make sure that we're because we don't stream in HD though. That's another thing.
That's what we have to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, there is a way. I was gonna figure it out. Like, I'll spend some time this weekend to look into it. But yeah, I gotta figure out how to stream in HD. But it's more for the podcast anyway. All right, so I think we are live. Oh, there's also a way we can get rid of the Zoom
Logo.
logo. I have to upgrade the Zoom stuff. But okay, that is that. Give me 1 second. Let me actually open up my YouTube and post a link on Instagram one last time. And actually, let's see if I can do this. Will it let me do it? I think it'll let me save it. Oh shit, it won't. Fuck yeah. All right.
Okay.
This is awesome. All right. Let me do this. It took me like a minute to figure out how to do the to create story. And I was like, oh my God, this is embarrassing.
You mean like a story from the podcast page?
Oh no, not from the podcast page, from the Instagram page, to create. And I was like,
wait, what? Don't talk about me anymore. Don't talk about me anymore.
Oh, screw you. I figured it out.
Don't talk about me anymore.
Screw you. I figured it out. Pretty much all the time. Just took a little bit of finagling. We live right now. Boom. Let's go. And I'll be more on top of this in the future.
Should be a New Year's resolution.
Screw you. Man, you just freaking on fire today, huh?
Not have the listeners looking at starting soon for 5 minutes before every video.
Hey, no, I usually last couple of times I started at I just started the Zoom at 5 minutes before, and I have the starting soon thing up. So yeah, this time it was just a little bit late because I was actually busy just trying to get notes from Spider-Man No Way Home. Just taking all the notes as I can. But yeah, that's it. Well, guys, welcome to the Targeted Podcast.
Is this 45 or 46?
46, and I put 44 like an idiot. So we're gonna change that later. I can't even put 44. Okay.
Bad.
Anyway,
we've been looking forward to this episode, you guys, ever since these movies were pretty much announced, right? As soon as they were announced, I was ready to watch them. Oh, you're breaking up. See, God doesn't even want to hear what you had to say. Anyway, we've been excited about this episode for a while now. I've been looking forward to the Spider-Man movie. I've been looking forward to the Matrix movie. So yeah, I'm ready to dive into this one, man.
You're ready to get in on that, right? Yeah. So we'll talk both now. Let's see. Did you put the event? Did you put the event on? Do you have an event or no?
For today, probably not.
Okay, it's all good. So I don't have to search for it to find it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So what do you want to hit up first? You want to hit up Spider-Man first? You want to hit up Matrix first?
Let's hit Spider-Man first. first.
Okay, Spider-Man first.
I want to start off on a high note.
Start off on a high note. Oh my God.
Off on a high note.
Oh my god. Well, I was taking notes, and I have like a couple pages of notes of Spider-Man. Let's go
Oh
ahead
man.
and get going. But first things first, again, thank you, Nicholas, for kind of watching Spider-Man in like a week's time. Normally, we're trying to get things out early. Nicholas is
Boy, it is tough to get out here.
no, but
Man.
Nicholas, you have you have a lot going on, right? You know,
I got these youngins. Yeah, man.
you're a family man. So I mean,
Thank God for the grandparents. Actually, if the grandparents hadn't come down here, I would have seen the movie. So just thank God for the grandparents.
yeah,
Shout out to the grandparents.
I would be more understanding, but where's the fun in that? So I'll just keep busting your balls like you can.
Sure.
Like, you're watch these movies quick enough. So yeah, no, I watched it Saturday when it came out, and I wanted to watch it real quickly because like all the things that I follow like on Instagram, or like if you go to the Instagram Explorer page, or
Your
like
Google News feed.
Google News feeds or whatever, like so many news channels just so quickly try to spread. So this is what this means, or this is what this means, or here's this guy, and I'm like, don't do that. So
I had to ignore it. Oh man, you're breaking up. Did you pay your internet bill this month?
I didn't plug in my internet, so I'll go ahead and do it now. So
yeah, you can't just depend on like the public Wi-Fi near your dorm. You need to pay your. I didn't even hear the full like FU either. So that's what I'm talking about. Make sure you're plugged in. Make sure your bills are paid up.
Moving on. You had your fun?
All right, go ahead.
You had your fun? Yeah, no, so I went to see it on Saturday night. And let me tell you, it was packed. I want to talk a little bit about the pandemic right quick, because there are stages at the pandemic where either you have like a medical like cure, or people just start saying fuck it, right? That's how pandemics usually end. And with Spider-Man No Way Home and it clearing $1 billion in like a week, and like seeing how packed it was kind of the moment where people just said, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna.
It passed the Dark Knight. It passed the Dark Knight already, man.
Yeah, it's already $1 billion. It's the first $1 billion movie in the pandemic era, right? It like this when I went to the theater, like I was trying to find like IMAX and 4DX and all those like theaters, all sold out. So I ended up finding like
I saw it in IMAX.
Well, there you go. Good for you. Good for you. No, but I saw it just in regular standard, and it was fine with me. So I had pretty good seats, thankfully. And yeah, no. Saw it late Saturday night, and I'm happy I did it. So no one could freaking ruin it for me. I need to also ask you a question too, Nicholas.
All right.
How did I do not ruining it for you? Because we were talking Hawkeye, and there's some clear like intersection between the end of Hawkeye, the last episodes of Hawkeye, and Spider-Man. Did you notice that?
I didn't. Nothing was ruined for me. I was good. I was good.
Good job. That's pretty much what I'm saying. I'm patting myself on the back. So yeah, now let's go ahead. Let's go and get this started off. So what do you think of the movie, just in general? And then I'll just kind of just go through the list of like.
Well, first of all, yeah. So I mean, I think this is the best Spider-Man movie, and as far as I'm concerned, I think this is the best Spider-Man movie, right?
Even more than Spider-Man: The Spider-Verse, because I actually just watched a little bit of that earlier today.
Yeah, for me right now, it's Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Wow.
Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2. Those are my top 3.
Okay.
Spider-Man movies. Yeah, in that order.
Okay. Yeah, I would actually say Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, because I think it was the first Spider-Verse film. I mean, I liked it a lot. Very original. Then I'll say this one, so No Way Home. Then I'll actually say Spider-Man: Homecoming. The first one.
Spider-Man 2 is way better than Spider-Man 2.
I would say
better than Spider-Man 2.
Homecoming and Spider-Man 2 are kind of like what and what, because of the bad guys, right? Both the bad guys, both what makes those movies good are the bad guys, right? And I think they're about what and what to me.
I'll give you that the Vulture. I think the Vulture. Michael Keaton did a good job as the Vulture, but story-wise, for me, like what they did with Doc Ock, I think was way better for me.
I think it's kind of on par, but it's all good. That's why we have these lists. So, yeah, no, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. So many like little nits things about the scene that's caught. Some very obvious stuff and then some very non-obvious stuff. Let's go ahead and get to it. So obviously, Spider-Man. It starts from where Far From Home starts, right?
Right.
With Mysterio outing him, right? So right from there, and like you see him like say, "What the?" right, and starts freaking out.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was interesting though is when he went to go get Mary Jane, like the crowd that was like around him, the guy was like, "Oh, you're just a kid, right?" And that's the same thing that they said to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 on the train. Yep.
He's just a kid, right? Until he whisked her off, right? So I thought that was pretty funny. When he lands on the bridge, right, with Mary Jane, that's the same bridge in Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire, where he faced off his final battle with Green Goblin. So they're like
they're on it.
So what I liked about this,
New York is New York. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, New York is New York, sure. But what I liked about this Spider-Man movie is that it's kind of a homage to all the other Spider-Man movies that's come before it, right? Just like how Into the Spider-Verse is homage to all the other Spider-Man and like just the history of Spider-Man in general, like is that. So I like that how they kind of paid a lot of homage to him. So right. You also saw like billboards of like Rogers the Musical, which is huge in like Hawkeye. You didn't see those?
The what now? The which one?
Rogers the Musical. Remember the yellow?
Yeah. I did see that. Yep.
So those billboards are there. So yeah. When he was under Disney. Damn. My oh yeah. One of
notes stop being readable or something.
My notes oh yeah. So this is what I was thinking. I was trying to I note these down and my handwriting's just a mess, which is just embarrassing. So when he gets found out that he's Spider-Man, he goes back to like his room, right? And it's very reminiscent of Spider-Man Homecoming when he's kind of like undressed and like Ned is there. But this time he's undressed and MJ is there. And she's like, "Oh, well, okay." Like just
right. And Auntie walks in like,
Yeah, and I thought that was brilliant. It was just when she was like breaking up with like Happy, which is freaking hilarious because she was like,
the scenes with Happy I thought were great. And I don't want to say I didn't see that coming because it was clearly going to happen once like Iron Man passed, but Iron Man was like making passes at her too, right?
Yeah, but Iron Man was already with
Pepper, yeah.
So, but yeah, so I thought that was actually hilarious, and this is actually I'm loving what Marvel is doing now because he did this with Hawkeye. A lot of these single shot like scenes where like the camera follows like the action. So that's what kind of happened where they had the single shot scene where they're in the room and it follows Peter outside of the room, like following like Aunt May as he's like closing the windows and all that stuff. And then they turn on the TV and it's like, oh,
yeah,
Parker, right?
Yeah.
So I actually thought that was actually pretty cool. The news. So during like all the scene where everyone's like discovering Spider-Man, I actually caught this on one of the sites for that reviews these movies. The news ticker says there's turmoil in Asgard, which I thought
New Asgard, yeah. Right? And you saw something with like it was like the letter Z after that or whatever. So it's something possibly hinting at the appearance of Zeus in the next movie. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So they said it's the new Asgard. And yeah, it's I mean, our queen Tessa Thompson or Valkyrie is like having some problems there. So I mean, I'm hoping she could pull it out.
Of course, gotta be some drama.
We'll see more of it in the next Thor movie. So
Thor.
how that works, right? So DODC, right? That's the same like organization that was, I think, in Spider-Man: Homecoming, the first movie, right?
Yep, where they were collecting the stuff.
Damage
Yep.
control, right? So they come and like you just try to like play good cop, bad cop with like Peter Parker, like
With the whole gang, really.
huh?
What's that? With the whole group, really, right?
Yeah, with the
Like,
whole group. Yeah. Oh yeah, and MJ was there. It's like, I know my rights. She's like, you can't scare me with this.
I love her character.
Yeah, her
Love how
character is
she's
great.
characterized this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zendaya
love
is a
that.
great actress just in general, but the way she like embodies that style is just awesome, right?
Yes,
She's just
yes, I'm totally with you on that one.
oh, my rights. You can't scare me. What are you trying to do? And then
Yeah,
bites a bullet and tells him everything. He's like, wait, so you're his accomplice for all this stuff, right? Okay.
yep.
Thanks. Yeah, that Ned. So yeah, he eventually gets out of jail, and he gets a lawyer, some protection. And guess who is his lawyer?
Wow, so glad to see this dude. I was so glad to see this guy.
Yes.
Charlie Cox, aka Matt
he was
Murdock,
great.
aka Daredevil.
I mean,
love him.
He did such a good job. It's like sometimes you do such a good job with a character where that is your character, right?
Iron Man and
like
Robert
exactly,
Downey
every time you see
Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. now, for better or for worse, I think Iron Man, right? Because he's played it so well for so long. Right?
Hey, Kingpin too with Vincent D'Onofrio, man.
Yeah.
Same deal. Even though he was only in the Daredevil TV show up to this point, and Hawkeye obviously for like a second. Yeah. But I mean, that's the best on. I mean, there's only been one other instance of Kingpin being on screen, right, with the old Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
With man, I can't think of his name. Rest in peace too. I think Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes, there it is.
He passed away. Rest in peace to that guy. But this dude, Michael D'Onofrio, killing it.
Speaking about that old Daredevil movie, John Favreau, who was playing Happy, he played Foggy in that old
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this movie is based off of the One More Day comic book storyline, right? And I think we talked about this earlier, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's when Spider-Man went to Doctor Strange to get people to forget who he is. Like Doctor Strange, I guess.
Well, in the comics, he went to Mephisto.
Well, he went to Doctor Strange first, and then he ended up going to a little girl who turned out to be Mephisto, right?
There you go.
And like eventually it works, but like some shit happened. I haven't read the comic, but yeah. So when Peter Parker's also wanted to point out this too. The Stark can't like provide him some more support. Like Stark Industries was supporting this dude from like since day one, and then when he gets caught, it's like, what's going on? Like, where are your fancy ass lawyers, right? So,
I mean, just like Hawkman and the Winter Soldier were saying, like, they didn't pay for any of that stuff. I mean, he upgraded the tech, but that was it. They weren't on payroll.
Sure, they were doing like a bunch of like there's a lot of free volunteer work, sure, but like I don't know, they gave him like a Edith and Happy support him with like a jet and all that stuff. Like, come on, I feel like he'd get a little bit more support, but whatever. Movie's got a movie.
I don't know. I think that's only because Happy's still employed by Stark Industries though, so he's kind of like running. He was his right hand man, so he's kind of running things or whatever.
Which I would expect more support, right? I mean, Happy hooked him up with like his condo, which had a lot of shit in it, right? Like the
right, but he's not running the business. He just has access to stuff. And what did he give to Peter?
But he knows
that 3D printer.
Like, him and Pepper are like this, right? I would think Pepper would be like, no, let's throw some lawyers at this. Let's beat this thing. Like we can like say how like Mysterio's all BS, right? Which they eventually do anyway. But I mean, that's my little tip about that thing. There are a couple more things that I have about the like movie.
Nothing's perfect, but yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things that I have with this movie too.
I think that's super nitpicky, but at the same time,
yeah, I mean, it's nitpicky. It's definitely nitpicky. Flash has a book called Flashpoint, which I thought was interesting.
I thought that was funny. I did think that was funny.
So us being DC guys, we know what what Flashpoint is.
I definitely sat up. I was like, "You bastards!"
Probably trolling these days. Like, we got
How
you to the
dare you?
multiverse first. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, like when Peter Parker goes back to school, it was funny that the employees were like split. Like the teachers, but some of them were like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
the
we like
teachers.
you." The other guy's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I believe Mysterio. Like, don't kill me too, right? Dude's funny. So JB Smooth was his name, right?
Yeah. JV Smooth. Yep.
So yeah, MIT rejects them, right?
All of them. Yep.
All of them because of like
Their affiliation
the
with
affiliation with
Spider-Man.
which is really
Yep.
funny. And this is interesting because Riri Williams, Ironheart, goes to MIT. So we know this
Right.
gets reversed later, and it makes you wonder if there's going to be some.
I feel like they may cross over there. Like they'll see her at MIT. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that would be cool. Or you'll see, like, I think she's gonna have her own series, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if you see like Ned walking around, like MIT with her, right? So
and then I could see because with this one, with Tom Holland Spider-Man, he hasn't met Gwen Stacy yet, or it was another, I forget the other love interest from Peter Parker's days, like Felicia Hardy, Gwen Stacy. There's another one. She works at the Daily Bugle too. So, because he ends up, and at least in the comics, anyway, he ends up going to like Empire State University, right?
Yeah.
So he can meet those other characters there, and if he meets Felicia Hardy, I think she becomes Black Cat. So that could be a way to introduce her too.
Yeah, her origin is a little bit different too, because I think she gets a super soldier serum as well, and that's how she becomes.
It was something, yeah.
But she's obviously a Catwoman like spinoff. You know how they like to these
Dude, they had copied each other like crazy, man. People don't realize
absolutely.
that probably.
Absolutely. Okay. Wong, new Sorcerer Supreme. That's because like Doctor Strange.
But technicality.
The technicality is like, that's kind of messed up though. Like the man comes back, he up saves like half the universe. You can't give him the title back. Like that's
just longevity. That's funny. So now it makes you wonder, right, how he's going to get the title, right? Is that going to be explored in the next movie or no? Like, it makes you wonder.
Well, something else that so we know that Doctor Strange is powerful, right? And we know Doctor Strange is more powerful than Wong, right? And Doctor Strange has just a national affinity to us. So when Agatha Harkness said to Scarlet Witch that you have more power than the Sorcerer Supreme, which Sorcerer Supreme was she talking about? Was she talking about Wong? Or was she talking about Doctor Strange, right?
Hey.
So
hey, I like that. That's right.
That's
true.
Little interesting tidbit there, right? So I mean, Doctor Strange, like one of his big powers is that he has the power to like just get power from other like realms. Like, so how Scarlet Witch draws her power from Chaos Realm, in theory, Doctor Strange should be able to do the same thing, right?
True.
That's what the Ancient One did with the Dark Realm, right? Where she was able to draw her power from there. So yeah, I thought that was actually pretty interesting. That Wong was in Sorcerer Supreme, and it's kind of a little bit of a tidbit. It also kind of shows in Shang-Chi that how he's like more important now, right? Because he's kind of like kind of organizing shit and like talking to Shang-Chi, like training Abomination and all that stuff. So I thought that was actually really interesting. So when Peter Parker convinces Doctor Strange to do the spell or to see if there's anything that he can do, right? Like Doctor Strange first like rejects him, right?
Right.
But, he convinced him. He says like, "Hey, this isn't about me. It's hurting a lot of people," right? Which is the same line that the Ancient One said to him in his movie, right? It's not about you, right?
That definitely, I can see why that hit a nerve then.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense to why he was like, you know what? We've done this before. Why not do it again, right? So
he had a lot of. I mean, Spider-Man had a lot of. Peter had a lot of convincing to do too. Because if I was Doctor, and I love the way Benedict Cumberbatch is playing a character. Like I really like his character.
Yeah.
In these movies, because he's so like matter of fact, straight to the point. this isn't somebody that's gonna like BS around or that you can
Yeah.
BS, right? He's just like, no, get out of my face. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so yeah, when he came over, he was like, no, forget it. Spider-Man, I mean, Peter really had to like, well,
Yeah.
maybe we can just make everybody forget. And then
Well,
he
yeah,
was
Wong
like,
suggested that to him. Wong suggested that to him. He's like, oh, yeah, we can do that.
no, Peter said it. Peter said it. He's like, I just want everybody to forget that they're me. He was like,
Well,
we
I'm pretty
could do
sure
that.
Wong said something,
No,
and he's like,
Wong was trying to tell him not to do it. And then
yeah,
he said, we just did it last week, like for some BS.
yeah,
Like, why
for
can't we do
the
it
full
now?
moon party,
Yeah, yeah,
the full moon
yeah.
party.
So that's when Wong was like, fine.
Yeah. In the trailer, Wong was like, what did Wong say in the trailer? Wong was like, don't cast that spell, but he doesn't say it in the movie, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, the spell. Okay, well, I'll get more into the spell a little bit later. I have some questions about that. I didn't get a chance to finish reading the article that talks more about plot holes of the spell. I'll just tell you like what I think on that.
There
We'll
were
talk
some
about
plot
it later.
holes for me. There were
Yeah,
some plot
there are a
holes for
couple
me
plot
with the
holes, and
spell.
I'll try to like find it like a little bit later. But they said the spell travels between known and unknown realities, right? Right. So that means that it touches through other multiverses, and I thought just looking from a step back from conceptually, right, what Marvel is doing is like it seems like it legitimizes the other universes, right? And we can maybe possibly see like an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, right? Since we know later in the movie, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back, which I thought was like an epic scene. I mean, we knew it was happening. You know it was happening if you saw the other villains, right? But still, it was good to just kind of have that like experience, right? Which I thought was which I thought was great. So yeah, the spell was like everyone who knew Spider-Man before should still know, right? So I guess that was the rule that like started bringing people like in. And again, a little bit of a plot hole because like Electro just shouldn't know who Spider-Man is. I don't think he ever really found out who Spider-Man is, right? So it doesn't really make sense why Jamie Foxx comes into the picture. Like I remember saying that the other day, I don't remember, you should know that. And I'm not even sure if like the Lizard knew who Spider-Man was.
I don't know about Salmon either, but I think the thing is that as it was stated by Doctor Strange, like it made sense, but it wasn't until Peter started going back and forth about well, everybody who ever knew me, everybody who ever knows Spider-Man, everybody he said like all this mumbo jumbo in the spell, and I think that's what caused it, right? It's not necessarily that everybody who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man should not forget. The way he was saying it, it was like everybody who's ever met Spider-Man.
No, he said it like he said the spell like 5 times or 6, whatever, right? And like every time he had to start all over, and it's like, oh, MJ, Aunt May, and then he's like, everyone should who knows Spider-Man. I actually have it written down. Everyone who knew Spider-Man before should still know, right? That was the rule, right? So that's for some reason brought everyone from all the multiverses to like into that universe, which is interesting because why would it affect other multiverses, right? Now again, the spell travels between
the spell it travels between them, but it also, you said everyone who knew Spider-Man before or whatever, right? So the villains met, they met Spider-Man. Like the spell might be thinking, Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same person, so anybody who's also met Spider-Man.
Like the way they undid the spell is to make everyone forget Spider-Man, right? So again, like I feel like there's a plot hole with like, and that was never really explained, but like.
Well, listen to what you said. For people to forget Spider-Man.
Well, to forget that his connection to Spider-Man, right? So they still knew who Spider-Man was. Like remember J. Jonah Jameson at the end, it's like, we got to find out who Spider-Man is, and only a coward covers his face, right? Because he still knew it was Spider-Man, but not Peter Parker, right? So I mean, we can go back and forth. We could probably set our own episode on the spells, right?
I feel like that might be. Well, I'll say something else about that later because there was something else that confused me.
Yeah, there's
about the spell later, like at the end.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
I know where you're going with this too, and I think I have the same question on that one too. So yeah, Venom actually comes into like the MCU, and I didn't watch the Venom film. I did see the last bit of it where Venom's like the multi-hive mind of Venom across the multiverse, right? And I guess one of them knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so that's what brought him into the MCU.
I don't know. Did you watch the end credits for the movie?
I saw the end credits of the movie, yes, as in on YouTube.
Okay.
Not only the actual movie, but that was the reasoning, right?
So listen, hold on. We're not there yet. Let's get to that. Let's get to that because
the end credits. Oh, the end credits of Spider-Man, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's another plot hole that we need to talk about.
Okay. So let's get back to where we were then.
Yeah.
So the spell has been cast at this point.
Yeah. Spell's been
so
cast.
let me pause right there. So this is one thing that I did like the spell. Once the spell is cast, and he ends up like having to go out and catch the other villains. I thought I really liked the way they. First of all, I love the new Electro.
Yes.
Okay. This is what
he shouldn't be changed, but I'm happy they changed them. I'm happy they changed them.
You don't. Well, yeah, I was about to say you don't know what universe he's from, but he's from the Andrew Garfield universe.
He's clearly from Andrew Garfield's universe. Clearly.
Yeah, the blue thing and him being like a bumbling idiot,
like the hair that was just
idiot was just like yeah. So love that.
Really the movie, but we're totally fine with it. We'll let that
go. Right. I like the Croc. I thought he was funny. Like everybody, like these villains were like. It's funny. It's like these villains were way better characterized, like in this movie than in their respective movies, except for Doc Ock, right? But like the way they were
solid in this movie. I mean,
no, I'm not saying he wasn't solid, but I mean the way Spider-Man, like I said, Spider-Man 2 is just up there for me. So
yeah.
But the way he carried over to this movie, I thought was great.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. That fight scene on the bridge was great. When Doc Ock like took his like nano machine, like because his stuff is nano machine too. So Osborn is a scientist of like a master of nano machines too, which what Doc Ock uses. And then when he took his nano machines, like Peter Parker like paired it. It's like, oh, you can't move anymore.
That was funny. That was funny.
Actually pretty funny.
I like some of the ingenuity that we saw from Peter Parker too. Like I think that was something that was kind of missing in some of the previous movies.
Yes.
Because like with Tobey Maguire, you had the web shooters already built in. So you didn't really get this. You saw some of the intelligence, but not quite as much.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, he a little bit more, but it was more like with some prodding from Gwen Stacy, right? Like it wasn't really just him. This time it was like you see him kind of bumbling around because he's such a young kid still, but when push comes to shove, it's like, oh, I can, like the scene where he's fighting Doctor Strange, and that was another crazy scene. Yes. Spider-Man versus Doctor Strange. You're thinking that like it's what could Spider-Man possibly do? And I already knew that Doctor Strange was like holding back, right?
Yeah.
But then when Peter Parker's like, oh, this is a whatever theory.
No, what he said was the mirror dimension is just geometry.
Yeah, and he was like, he started doing all the angles and everything. I was
and he goes, what? Yeah, I was gonna get to that later, but you jumped the gun, but that's fine. It's like he was like, hey, magic is cool, but you know what else is cooler? Math. And then he like traps him.
I thought that was crazy. That was crazy, man.
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty cool. We talked about nanotech. We talked about how Electro is differently. We know that Oscorp doesn't exist in the MCU.
Right.
So there's that. We talked about all the other bad guys. Can we talk about William Dafoe as freaking Green Goblin?
Killed it. And let's talk about the way Goblin looked this time.
Oh my God.
The costume, I know it was just like a tattered like hoodie, but that was like Goblin.
That was the original. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, no. He was like, I mean, he came in his original Green Goblin uniform, and then like he smashed the helmet, right? And then when he goes to see he's like in his like green and like purple like vest, whatever, which is the original Green Goblin, and this guy just looks.
He did an awesome job, man. Yeah, and you can see the duality in the character, right? Yeah, I mean Norman Osborn is still like this from the first movie, still like, oh, no, I don't want to hurt anyone. Stop. And then Goblin takes over. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very reminiscent of Harvey Two-Face, right? In the comics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it'll be nice if you see like in another Batman film that you kind of see that back and forth. I mean, it's just the same thing, but they did it like again, William Dafoe.
Awesome job.
Yeah, just amazing.
His cameo was more than a cameo. I loved it, man.
Yeah, no,
I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think any
awesome
of those
job.
cameos. Like I thought they all did like a really good job. I think like Jamie Foxx's character was not the same character in like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 2. And I'm happy for it.
Yeah,
like,
this dude was cunning.
He was more cunning. He was more smooth, right? He was more like,
right.
I'm about to die. All right, I'm not doing that. Like, nah, we're good on that.
Yeah, you could tell he was a little scared, but he was still just looking for an opportunity. It was like, something is different here. I need this. When he saw the arc reactor, he was like, I need this. I need this.
He's like,
whatever.
I want to take some of that new energy. That's what he's like.
Yeah.
He saw the arc reactor. He's like, oh, I like this one, that energy right there. But I really like that, like that version of Electro. I thought that was just more him not trying to be something else, like him just kind of bringing that character to more Jamie Foxx's style, which I thought was great.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Which is really, really good. So I definitely appreciated Jamie Foxx. So when like Spider-Man went to like Aunt May, Feast, by the way, it's the first time we've seen Feast like mentioned, right? That's a huge thing in like the Spider-Man video game and like the comics, right? So Feast, like he's trying to like send him back. She goes, we should help this guy. And he goes, this is not my problem, right? This is reminiscent of
for Spider-Man when the guy's like talking about his money.
What is my problem, right? And then
Tobey Maguire too, right? Since when is that my problem? You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
So I
want to add too. Like this, unlike the others, like not Andrew Garfield,
Tobey Maguire.
Not Tobey Maguire. Tom
Holland.
These names. Tom Holland. Unlike the other like Spider-Man, this Tom, like what I liked about in this movie is like you showed like the real struggle, like of him just trying to do everything he can, putting his body on the line, right? You don't see that. I mean, you saw it a little bit in the first Spider-Man, a little bit of him putting his body on the line to kind of save Vulture. I feel like you didn't see it as much in the second one because you have like, again, just all the the Stark like armor and like webs and all that stuff, right? Like he has so much help and technology, and you see it again in the first one where he has so much technology from like Tony Stark, right? But this is him kind of like on his own, like doing the very best that he can, just trying his best, and that's kind of what makes Spider-Man like one of my favorite characters, right? So he's just out here just putting his life on the line, just doing everything he can to hold it together. And I thought that was just great.
So let me ask you this then. What did you think of when the Spider-Man came back? Like when you realized that he was going to get some help and you see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, like what was your initial reaction to that?
I mean, I was like, I wasn't surprised I knew what was happening. Like when I saw it, I was like, fuck yeah. I was kind of happy for it. I mean, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, his films weren't as good as the other ones. No. I would say both his films are still better than like the Spider-Man 3 film, which was just horrible. But
yes. Hey, well, yeah. I mean,
they're on the lower side, but he doesn't get enough of credit. I thought he was a great Spider-Man. The movie just wasn't up to par, right? So I was happy to see both of them back. Both of them a little bit older too, right? So they're both later in their Spider careers, like particularly like Tobey Maguire. They didn't use any de-aging technology on him. So like
So what I thought was interesting too was because I don't know if you know this or not, but Tobey Maguire actually has back problems. right?
Yeah.
And so when they were in the final scene, he was trying to stretch. I have this thing in my back.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this goes back to Spider-Man 2, like the same deal, like during filming.
Yep.
Like, he had a back injury, and they put a line for that in that movie. And here they are back again doing it again. And of course, Andrew Garfield's character shows him how to fix it. I liked how they.
I can pop it back for you, right?
Yeah.
They'll pop it back. Yeah.
But I liked how they differentiated between the Spider-Man as well, right? So in Andrew Garfield's universe, he, after Gwen's death, like he kind of lost it, right?
Yeah.
And he's fighting more out of rage now. Spider-Man pulls his punches
for a while,
right? He stopped pulling his punches.
Yeah.
That really said something because it reminded me of Batman too, right? Because that's you see, I got the like. But it reminded me of Batman. Like he's always afraid that if he kills someone, then he won't be able to step back from that. It seemed like his Spider-Man went that route, whereas you have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He was at a point where he was able to maintain that relationship with MJ. So this was just a Spider-Man who had love in his life and wasn't as raw as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. He had more compassion, it seemed like, than Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, I mean, he both went through his anger phase too, right? Because when he got Venom, he was just an angry guy, right? Until he had to let go of Venom.
Well, I'm talking about what happened between the last time we saw them and this moment here, right?
Okay.
So, and what was the other interesting thing that I saw was the way they tied them together with Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Each one of them was able to talk through the the tragedies that they've experienced in their life, right? Yeah. Tom Holland is like, I'm ready to kill this dude. He killed Aunt May, and one guy's like, I lost my Uncle Ben.
Tom Holland was like, don't tell me that how I'm going, what I'm going through. Like, how can you know? And he's like, well,
I did this. Yeah. This happened to me.
Same thing in the Spider-Man of the Spider-Verse, by the way. Almost exactly the same thing, right?
Yeah. So it was like each of them experienced something that they had to push through that would make them a better hero. And this now is Tom Holland's Spider-Man's turn. So I thought that was dope.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually really cool too. We talked J. Jonah Jameson. I mentioned this to you last time. So that's Alex Jones. They're just making fun of Alex Jones, right? So Alex Jones had InfoWars, and I don't know if you know who he is, right? He's just a guy that he's a very popular. He was a conspiracy theorist. He had this thing called InfoWars, which they shut down, and he was actually implicated. So during the Sandy Hook shooting, he called it a farce or something fake, and they actually sued him. They hold him liable for him saying that it's fake. So I don't know if he owes them money or whatever, but they just had a ruling against that recently. Obviously, he's an anti-vaxxer, Alex Jones, and just the news today, right? Because the former president actually said people should get their vaccine, and then Alex Jones just lost his shit. It was like, well, blah 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 blah. Get my vaccine. I'm gonna tell all the dirt about you, whatever. I'm not gonna say much about that. The thing about J. Jonah Jameson pushing supplements on his show was a direct making fun of Alex Jones. He did the same thing, right? On his
oh wow, okay.
So I actually thought that was actually pretty funny. They talk about the villains revealing the moment they die, right? That's why Peter wants to heal them, right? And yeah, we talked about how Peter Parker evade Doctor Strange. What's better than magic math, which I thought was awesome.
I like how
yeah. So by the way, Liz Ellen, Peter Parker's first girlfriend at the beginning of the in Spider-Man Homecoming, she was shown on a magazine cover, in the movie, saying he's a liar. Wow. Yeah, so that's crazy.
Wow. Wow.
That's funny that she's still there. I thought she was great, beautiful actress, by the way. Anyway, next, Spider-Man math. Spider-Man Goblin kills Aunt May. When it was happening, one of the things about what defines Spider-Man in general is sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
He loses someone, there's some sort of sacrifice. He has to make some sort of sacrifice, right? He sacrifices himself, whatever. You don't really see that enough in the other Spider-Man movies, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but you saw it a lot in this one, where he just the concept of sacrifices like really kind of hit home there. So he lost like Aunt May. Aunt May was like, with great power comes great responsibility, right? That's kind of what links the other two Spider-Man together, right? When he was like sulking over that. I like when they introduced like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. They played their respective music from their movies.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually really cool as well.
I like how, like, when they first came in, the way they had to prove that they were Spider-Man too. I was laughing about that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so
you
the
had...
Andrew is pretty funny. He goes, he's like, "Are you Spider-Man?" He goes, he starts hanging up there, and he goes, "Why don't you call
do
over
something
there?"
else.
Yeah, it's
Can
like,
you
"Don't
not...
you get some of the cobwebs? Since you're up there, get the cobwebs." Like, it's been there for a while, right?
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny. So yeah, and then like when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came back and they like looking at each other and like, what the, and they just fired like the the webbing at each other, which I thought was actually really funny. So
and how they were talking about the difference between Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's webbing and their webbing, because Tobey Maguire's like, what's that? He's like, it's a web cartridge. And then Tobey Maguire's just like, boom, and they were like, whoa, like, how do you make
Andrew
it?
Garfield's face though. Andrew Garfield was like disgusting. It was like, wait, what? That just comes out of you? and then like when they're on the bridge like later, they're like, so do you ever like run out or have problems shooting your way? That's so many ramifications.
Oh my gosh, man. So many good scenes in this movie, man. So it's stuff like that made the movie like that much more watchable. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, and they clearly did their homework in the sense of like what like even like with the memes, right? So when MJ, or was it MJ event, just like Peter, and he goes, huh? Who? They all say, huh? And they all pointing at each other. That's the classic Spider-Man meme of like two Spider-Man pointing at each other. Right? Which I thought was just a great scene there. I love their bonding moments. So they were on the when they were on the Statue of Liberty, which they put like Captain America's shield on, which gets destroyed eventually, right? He what happens? They're just talking to each other about like who they fought and all that stuff, right? And like Andrew Garfield's like, yeah, I fought an alien symbiote, and he goes, well, yeah, I fought like Thanos and this and this and this, and like Andrew Garfield's like, man, I didn't fight any of that stuff, man. I'm lame.
I wish I could have fought an alien.
Yeah, I wish I could fight an alien. I'm lame. And he goes, no, you're amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Which obviously Andrew Garfield was the amazing Spider-Man in this film. So I thought that was actually pretty
I thought that was good, man. One more thing I want to talk about too before I hand it back over, I think it's the last thing we'll talk about, is the climax of the movie. Oh no, there's two more things. I have to get to my questions about the spell. So for one, the climax of the movie, when Goblin comes back, you finally see Peter Parker like not hold back anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And when he got serious, like he was putting dents like into the statue.
He was punching hard. He was not holding back. Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
He was like, that boy. Boom, boom, let's go.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so I mean, I'm ready to talk about the spell now because there was something that kind of bothered me about how it all ended.
Yeah. Can we get to that a little bit later? We'll talk about the spell. I want to say, so Ned, when he opens the portal to try to get Doctor Strange, or like when he doesn't close the portal, like the lizard like charges at them and into the science lab, which is reminiscent of the Amazing Spider-Man 1 when the lizard like attacked Peter Parker in the science lab when Stan Lee was there. When they were trying to fight all three of them, like the other two Peter Parkers aren't used to fighting on a team, right? And Andrew Garfield is, and like he's like, yeah, I was in the Avengers, and like Peter Parker's like, was that a band? Which is exactly the same thing the Hulk said at Infinity War. It's like, The Avengers broke up. You mean like a band? They broke up like a band?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was actually pretty interesting. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Oh yeah, when they finally cure. So anyway, that fight scene was amazing. By the way, the way they were kind of spinning around and like they
Oh
jumped
yeah.
and like, Peter caught them with like his webbing and they like kind of flipped around. That was just a great scene there. Um, the scene when they start curing everyone, I thought that was actually pretty cool. When they like heal Electro eventually, and he takes off his mask. He goes, "I thought it was gonna be a Black Spider-Man." It's like it's going to be similar, gonna be a Black Spider-Man, which kind of
Yeah.
brings home the point earlier about like he didn't know who Spider-Man is, so why is he there, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, when that scene happened, I was like, yeah, because there's a Black Spider-Man. It's called Miles
Right.
Morales, right?
Right.
Great game, video game that they have about him on PS5. So definitely play that.
Or
And
PS4 for those of us who couldn't. For those of you who couldn't get a PS5. Sorry.
you losers. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I have in terms of notes. And obviously, let's talk. What happens is like the final spell happens where like so what happens is Green Goblin breaks like the little matrix that holds the spell,
Right.
it goes out of control and all these things start trying to invade the universe and Doctor Strange's like, oh shit, I can't hold them all. And he goes, and you see Peter Parker make the sacrifice again, saying, just let everyone forget it was me, and it'll work, right? I think Doctor Strange says, I'll see you around or something like that, which maybe I wonder if he changed the spells so Doctor Strange will remember who he is. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was more just like,
Yeah, I'll just see you later.
I'll
Yeah.
see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here was my thing. Here was my thing with the spell, right? So Spider-Man makes that sacrifice, like let everyone forget, right? So it was like you see the villains disappear or whatever, but it made it seem like there were still some people who came through from other multiverses, from other universes into this one. So I was like,
that's a good
how
point.
does that work? Like either it canceled it out or it didn't, right?
So let's talk about this. So what happens is that he makes a spell, right? So people forget it's Spider-Man. Keep in mind the end of Far From Home, the Black Dahlia necklace he gives MJ. MJ's still wearing that necklace at the end of the movie, right? When he sees her at the ice cream shop or whatever, right? So she's still wearing that necklace. She doesn't remember him, but there's still some stuff that's going on there. Like so, and also Venom leaves a piece of himself in that universe as part of the after credit scene, right?
I did see that, yeah.
But like, why wouldn't all of the pieces of Venom go back to their universe? Which is like is interesting.
That's what I was saying. I was like, either it worked or it didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
So I mean, also the idea is that everyone should pretty much the rule is everyone should forget Peter Parker's Spider-Man, right? So they know Spider-Man exists, they just don't have that connection. So pretty much you forget, or rather forget about Peter Parker. The thing about that rule though is that does that affect other multiverses as well, right? So like because the rule first brought them into this universe, right? This affect universes going out. So Peter Parker and MJ work it out in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, right? If this spell affects that multiverse, that universe, right? Does MJ forget who Peter Parker is in that universe, right?
I don't know because the way this is
we
it's
can
hard.
have another episode about this one because there's a lot. I have a lot of questions. I need to do more reading and understanding on that one.
Yeah,
so,
I think we might have to bring this up.
Yeah,
in another episode, just talk about the spell.
There's so much that I have questions about. And I saw an article. I didn't have a chance to read it today too. How they just I wish I had a chance to read it before this episode, but it was like how someone finally breaks the silence on like the plot holes of like the final spell. So like let's have another episode on that one. So we can kind of talk in more detail about that for sure. But all in all, I thought it was a good movie. I did want to point out lastly too, at the end of the movie, you saw and this was kind of a sad scene too. MJ and Ned, they make it to like MIT, right? So
Yeah.
this thing kind of has some time travel um, possibilities to it, right? Because that
What do you
already,
mean?
think about it, they already got rejected by MIT, right? So now that everyone forgets like who Peter Parker is, that kind of undoes, and they get
It didn't
essentially,
forget. Remember, the lady said that she was going to talk to MIT, so they
but they
got
were
their
still,
letter.
but they went back to they went back to that whatchamacallit, the coffee shop or the ice cream shop, like right there, right when they first initially found
Yeah,
out.
they go back there later, but he had already talked. The
Oh, I
lady
feel
already
like that
talked. Went
was
back,
like,
talked to me. No, that made sense to me. That
I
made sense to me.
we're gonna have to talk more about this one. We'll do some more research on that.
Yeah.
And do our due diligence. But all in all, I thought it was a great film. Um, Tom Hiddleston said he was gonna like take some time off on like
Yeah.
because he's done a lot. He's also gonna play in whatchamacallit,
Doctor Strange too, I think.
no, Tom Hiddleston or Tom Holland? No, he's gonna play
Oh, Tom Holland.
yeah, Tom Holland. Who is
Well, he's
the
going to be in Uncharted.
there it is. The
He's going to be in
Uncharted
an Uncharted movie, which I hope is good. I mean, it's based on a video game. Never had high hopes for that, but it's one of my favorite video game franchises from Sony. So
yeah.
hopefully,
You know what's
hopefully
sad?
something bad happens.
What's really sad is I actually bought Uncharted 3 for like PlayStation. I think it was a 4 or 3 or one of them.
Uncharted 3. I think that was a PlayStation 4 game.
I never played it. Never played it. So
you're missing out, man. All the Uncharted games are great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they are. I mean, the thing is, like, so I tried doing this with like other video games. So I tried going back to the very first game, but sometimes like the controls are just so like just bad, like you just can't get into it. Like I tried doing it with like Devil May Cry, and I played like the first like 2, and like the controls are just so off. Like I can't control like the camera, and it's like I just couldn't get into it, right? Like
yeah, I see that.
But yeah, no, it's a good movie. We spoiled the shit. We should have said spoiler alerts, but whatever.
Oh, please, it says Spider-Man review, so yeah. Deal with it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we spent like almost an hour talking about Spider-Man, but it was such a good movie. Let's talk about the other one now, Matrix. I didn't take any notes on this one, so
no respect. I didn't. Well, I don't really take notes like that. But so when they said a new Matrix movie, were you excited?
I mean, I was intrigued. We had this conversation in another episode, right? I said I was intrigued. One of the things is like the Wachowskis hasn't really done a great movie since like the first Matrix movie, to be honest with you, right? That was
right.
I think you all agree that the first Matrix movie.
Well, I thought V for Vendetta was good.
They didn't direct V for Vendetta. They wrote V.
I thought they did.
They didn't direct it. I did look this up.
Okay.
V for Vendetta was directed by someone else, but they did write V for Vendetta. Let me
actually okay.
To make sure. But yeah, so they did write it. It was directed by James McTeague. But they did write V for Vendetta. But I was intrigued. And the thing is that, but I was like, what more are they going to try to add to it, right? So when I heard the news, I was like, this is obviously a money grab, right? But when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Right.
And then when I saw the movie, I was like, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I think we had some friend of ours, they thought it was terrible and a waste of time, right? And I didn't
think it was terrible.
I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay. I definitely wouldn't suggest people go see it. Like, but if you just have love for like the first like Matrix movies, you'll I think you can find some enjoyment with this one. One of the things I thought was really interesting, and I read an article about this later too, and they make fun of this in the movie, was that it looked like Lana Wachowski, the director, didn't like the fact that they made a Matrix game, right? Because they make a lot of references in the movie.
She liked the no.
That's what they made in the movie. They said in the movie, it's like they turned something so important to something trivial as a game. That's what it was said.
If you go back to like some of the news from like the original trilogy, like that was the point. They were going to have the story told out through different mediums. So I don't know where you saw that, but I'd have to see her. I have to see a quote to say like I disapproved of the game because
she never made the quote. She never made the quote, but she did. It was in the movie. It's like they turned something like that into a game. One thing is for sure, I can guarantee you for sure when it said Matrix 4, right? So this is actually what I read in the article too. This one I read the article, and I can send you the article. They said that they were gonna make Matrix 4 with or without her.
Yeah, like, I did see that.
It was happening, and then made that reference again in the movie, right? Like yeah, we're making Matrix 4, like with or without you. Like this is like I can't believe the studio wants Matrix 4, but we get to go back and revisit the Matrix and all that stuff, right? So she does eventually say like that she enjoys his characters and whatnot. I was bummed out that Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in the movie, like officially, but like if you saw the movie, they do pay a lot of homage to him, right? So it does make sense, even though I don't know why that Morpheus looks so different from the other Morpheus, but you know.
How do you look different? Oh well, yeah. But it's a new Matrix, like it's a new like cycle, right? So all the characters look different. There was a new Trinity.
That's true. That was true.
You know what I'm saying? A new woman with a white rabbit. But so when they made the announcement about the movie, like I was extremely excited, right? Because I was like, dude, there's so much they could do with this. Like I was hyperventilating. No. I don't do that. But I was like, I wanted to see what they were going to do, and then you see this movie, and it's like the story they tell didn't really move anything forward for real. Like you got some explanation for what happened, but it was just like a little, it was just like a little tidbit. Like it was just like there was a truce. Yeah, there was a truce. And then obviously the machines like made another version of the Matrix. The humans end up freeing more minds, and they're able to start a new city. Zion ends up getting destroyed, and Morpheus like decided to do nothing about it just because he was such a deep believer in this whole like the one thing that he just thought that everything was just going to be okay. Right.
He believed that what was done could be undone, and like Neo sacrifice like was everything.
Yeah.
So here's a part that I didn't get, and maybe you can explain this one. So why did they need to recreate Neo and Trinity, right? So because when I understood this, and I was gonna watch this movie again, but I honestly didn't feel like it. Nothing really intrigued me to watch it again.
I'm still gonna watch it again, but my understanding was that okay. So you gotta remember, like at the end of Revolutions, the Matrix as they knew it, well, it had been destroyed, and then it kind of gets like remade, right? Like, things, programs like kind of rewrite things, and once Smith is destroyed, like things go back to the way they were. Yeah. But they have to continue to update the program, right? And so now it's like in place of the architect, you have the analyst who realized something different about humanity, which was basically like it was something. This is why I need to watch it again, because it was basically like, where the architect realized that we just like couldn't live like in a perfect world. We needed something to believe in or struggle against. The analyst realized something else, and I unfortunately like I forgot like what he was saying, but basically it boiled down to like it was something about love and choice. Like they put that into the equation, into the algorithm, right?
When they were trying to recreate the Matrix with Neo, they figured out that they also needed Trinity as well, right?
Yeah.
But they also figured out that they couldn't have them together because it would destroy the Matrix. So you just kind of keep them close apart, which to make them suffer, right? Which
Right.
apparently makes more, gives him more energy.
It's something about the
Yeah.
suffering that where people are like trying to do better, but they get so
No,
lost in
I
the suffering.
understand. Yeah, but that doesn't really explain why they felt the need to have to recreate Neo and Trinity again, right? Like from my understanding from the first Matrix, right? Neo is being the one. It's just a culmination of like a miscalculation, right? Where they how they
Right.
calculate the Matrix. Neo comes out as this guy with all these powers, and then by the way, another question: Smith also comes back when he's clearly killed the first time, right? So
Right.
how does Smith come back? Like I have to. I have so many questions about this one that I have to kind of redo.
I gotta read it again.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
gotta
have to
read it.
watch
I
it
have to
again
watch it again.
to really get into it. Again, I didn't do as much reading and homework on this one as I did obviously Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
gonna
mean what the analyst said made sense to me. You know what I mean from that perspective. I just can't regurgitate it all right now, whatever.
yeah.
But it
I
made sense.
mean,
My issue with the film is just like it was like they kind of sleepwalk through the film. Like
yeah.
the fight scenes and the choreography was exactly what it would be if it was, if the Matrix 4 had come out like 2 years after the Matrix 3. Like everything was pretty much the same sort of
A lot of
stuff.
callbacks. A lot of callbacks.
A lot of callbacks, which I thought was cool because it that was kind of like Neo like waking up to certain things. Like you kind of see that it's kind of just like something isn't right. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, I think the different looking Smith doesn't make sense to me. Like I still don't know how Smith actually survived, and why he
Well,
looks
if
different.
no, it does make sense because if Neo recognizes any of this stuff, then he'll know there's something wrong. So everybody has to have a new face, right?
Okay,
And Neo in the Matrix also has a new face because if somebody in the Matrix recognizes Neo, then that's going to mess it up too. Remember, he doesn't look like himself either,
okay, that kind of
right?
makes sense. That makes a little bit of sense. But
Yeah.
Smith was destroyed. Like Smith was purged, right? So how was this old Smith like
I
he was
mean,
clearly destroyed. Like there's no doubt about it, right? Like Neo was killed, but they brought him back, right? We saw that. How was
well, I
Smith brought
mean,
back?
you don't know that he died, right? Think about it. Think about
Okay,
it. Think about it.
think about
Because
him.
well, if I would put it like this, right? Because we were talking the movie too. So, and you're talking about something like far, far, far into the future.
Yeah.
So it could be that science and technology at that point is at a point where something crazy happens to your mind and your body. Machines have come up with something. Remember, it looked like he was more machine than man anyway, because if you
You're
looked at his
capping a lot.
body,
You're speculating a
huh?
lot right now.
I'm speculating, right? But he had more like plugs and more like metal parts to his body than the other people did. You know what I mean? So they said it took him a long time to rebuild him.
Yeah, but that doesn't
You know what I
explain why
mean?
Smith came back. I mean, I get why Neo came back. I'm also kind of understand. I don't understand how Trinity has powers now, like the one powers.
That's the way the
Um,
analyst wrote her program. To
yeah, I
be
mean,
his
of her to
it's
be
to be
together.
his complement. It's
Yeah,
to
to
be
be
his
for them to be
complement.
together,
They
right?
complement each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to see some more reviews about the this Matrix Resurrection. Like,
Yeah. I gotta watch it again. But for me, the letdown for me was just that they told a story that I didn't really want to be told, right? I don't care. I know that Neo loves Trinity, right? But I don't care to watch him rescue her like again, right? I'd much rather see
well, she rescues
something,
him again, right?
whatever.
Kinda.
No, he rescued her.
He rescues
They
her,
rescued
and
each
they try
other.
to jump, and then she starts flying, and
They
he
rescued each
ends.
other.
Yeah. So
Right. But I mean, I wanted to see something that was going to move like the general thing further. Like, where are we, like, for real? And it kind of just seemed like we're just now we can grow. Now humans are like surface level.
well, yeah, there's still focus. It's a new opportunity to have new heroes and new people within this
Yeah.
universe. It's so focused on like Neo and Trinity, right? kind of like what happened with Star Wars, right? Where they still fixated themselves on like Luke Skywalker, um, and like the Rise of Skywalker, the Force Awakens, like Palpatine. They still kind of stay with those characters when they had the opportunity to kind of move the story along in a different direction, right?
Well, I will say this did not piss me off as much as the Star Wars did. I will say that. For better or for worse,
Hey,
this did
well,
not piss me off as
I'm
much
just
as that.
saying, Ryan Johnson's about to make another Star Wars movie, so you better get ready for that. Oh,
God.
I still think it's so funny the Ryan Johnson Star Wars movie. It's so. I remember when you asked this question, it's like which one was the best one, and I struggled answering this question because that second Star Wars movie is the best and worst one at the same time, and it's like how do you do that, right? It's best because I think it's a unique story. It's more unique than all the other Star Wars stories, but it's the worst because it's such a deviation from like the first movie.
Yeah.
And you know, the third, I did not care for the third movie, and I only know the third movie wasn't as good as it could have been because of the second movie, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's just, well,
yeah.
I hope they come up with a better Star Wars though.
Yeah.
Like,
but one thing I did appreciate about this movie though was, and obviously, like I'm not a videographer or whatever, but the picture seemed like very clear to me. Like this was like a really good looking movie.
Yeah.
I thought the special effects were like probably better than just about anything I've seen recently. Like I thought the effects in this movie were really good.
We thought, yeah. Well, one of the things that we thought the reason why they wanted to make this movie is we felt that they were ahead of their time, like more than 20 years ago when they made the first couple Matrix, right, with some of the visual effects, and they kind of caught up with that. The person that plays Bugs, I think her name is Jessica.
Is it Colleen Wing or something? Or
Well,
Colleen?
Colleen Wing is her character in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Jessica, and my friend gets on me for like not remembering names. So I need to try to make sure I get her name.
Well, we saw you. We heard you fumble like all the Spider-Mans every time.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. Who is her name? Yeah, Jessica Henwick.
There you go.
So
I thought she did a good job.
I think she was a great job. Yeah, I would have liked to seen her like more like kind of take over it. You know, I mean, she played the part of Morpheus a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. So I would have liked to see her take a little bit more control over that. There was no real sacrifice in this Matrix movie as opposed to like in the first Matrix movie, like the whole crew dies, right? And they make a reference to that in like the film, like shit, everyone that writes this guy dies. It was like, right?
Yeah, they got a little scared, like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but it would have been cool if they kind of made them like choose those like I know I'm gonna go to death. I'm going to like die, but I believe in this guy so much, right? I honestly felt the stakes wasn't that high enough, to be honest with you. Like the goal was just like to rescue Trinity for his sake, but not to rescue all of mankind, or I don't know. Like I'll have to watch. I have mixed feelings about this one.
I have to watch. Like I said, like we've been saying, like I have to watch it again to really get a little bit more to it.
But that's the thing too about this movie. It's like I wouldn't mind watching Spider-Man Far From Home again, right? Because it was such a good movie. Like,
I mean, No Way Home.
No Way Home. I said Far From Home. Yeah, Spider-Man.
See? Get your names right, man.
Home. Screw you. Again, this one I'm a little bit more reluctant to. Maybe like one day, just to kind of watch it, just to make sure all the pieces fit together. I did feel like there was way too many callbacks. Like everyone who's watching this movie, you could assume has watched the first Matrix, right? So you didn't have to see so many flashbacks. There's so many flashbacks. This movie was like an hour and a half long. Could have easily been just.
It was like 2 hours.
Well, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, 2 hours, almost 3 hours long, right? 2 hours, 30 minutes, right? Could have easily been 2 hours, right? Just if you cut out back on all the flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like
What
some of it was needed to get to the point, some of the points across that what
some
they
of
were
it
trying to do,
was. Some of it
right?
was,
But
yes.
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that.
There's a lot. One thing I thought, one little, this is me being super nitpicky too. So the machines, like how they like interact in like the world, right? You know, these like little floating bots. Um,
Yeah,
right? So the part where Morpheus was like supposed to like infiltrate like the machine city, you saw him like jumping and like climbing up. Like if you're just a bunch of floating bots, you should just be able to fly, right? Like you don't
that is
you don't
true.
have like when he went to like break out Neo, he kind of like fit through like some pipeline and like kind of regurgitated like there, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
you should be able to fly. Like why is that a thing? But like I noticed that
yeah.
like
But I did like how because those little bots were like they were like programs, right,
yeah
from the Matrix. Like it seemed like after after like the revolution and everything, um it was saying that like more programs were choosing to help the humans too or whatever.
yeah
And I thought that was pretty
that was
dope because
pretty
I was
cool.
like,
I thought that was
what are
cool.
these insectoid things going to get Dio? Like it's like, oh, these are old programs from the Matrix or whatever. So I
Yeah,
thought
no,
that was a
I thought
nice
that was
little
actually
wrinkle.
pretty cool. That was a reference I thought to Matrix 2, where they were saying like how we rely on machines to like for survival, right?
Right.
So I thought that was actually pretty cool that they have like machines that are like working together and whatnot. Niobe, I think Niobe, the other old lady, that's her boo. I think they had like a relationship there. Did you see that? Like how they're kind of caressing each other.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I thought that was interesting. But I mean,
I felt like the movie had a slow start too, a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
It kind of like me. I felt like it kind of meandered along a little bit until a
I
little
I
bit,
wish
in.
I wish they used that opportunity to kind of pass it off to a separate generation, right?
Yeah,
Um,
or
like
give us more insight as to like what's going on
yeah.
with the struggle as a whole.
Well,
We
I
got like
thought
an
they did.
explanation. Then we got an explanation. We didn't really get like shown anything. It was just more
Yeah.
like, and I know
I
that's the
mean,
nature of the movies,
yeah. I
but I
mean,
would have
it
liked more
was
to see more.
it was a lot there because they talked about the machine civil war, right? Which I thought was interesting. Um, they didn't really talk about how the next Matrix was recreated and like what really brought that about, or again why the analyst talks about like how we had to convince the higher ups to recreate Neo and Trinity and how it cost them an arm and a leg. Again, I don't understand exactly why they felt the need to do this. Like if they were just gonna make another Matrix, they'll just kind of learn from like the last mistake and um, like and like kind of mitigate that a little bit better, right? So in the earlier Matrices, they mitigate or they have a failsafe for Neo by making him choose between like a loved one and like the rest of Zion, right? You can go back to the real world and die with the rest of Zion, and it's gonna kill everyone in the Matrix and all the humans, or you can go back in the Matrix, pick 12, rebuild Zion, right? So that's kind of how they've always kind of forced the one to kind of do their bidding. Um, I don't
Well, they
know
were
why.
saying Neo was different because so it was like the other ones was a general like love for humanity.
Yeah,
Neo's case was
more
different because
specific,
he had
love.
love for a specific person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And which, by the way, so one of the things I did enjoy about this movie too was um, we all interpret Matrix differently. I have my opinions about Matrix and my like what I think it meant. Others have their own theories about Matrix, and they kind of played into that a lot. They joked about that a lot, like in the
yeah,
movie, right? It's like, oh, well, I think this and this, and oh, I think this is and this, and this is and this, right? And like they're like when director Lana Wachowski was making this movie, um, she kind of knew that, right?
yeah,
And she was kind of making fun of that again, making fun of like Warner Brothers again. It's like, oh, they were gonna go ahead and make a fourth one regardless whether we said so. We had to do it anyway, right?
yeah.
Um,
When she name checked Warner Brothers
yeah,
in the movie, said,
yeah. She
all
straight
right,
name checked them. She was like, yeah, they're gonna do this shit anyway, so we might as well get this done. So yeah, that's I think there's a little bit of animosity there. I think Warner Brothers was kind of just using it to get some money, drive some people to HBO Max, right, for the next Matrix movie. We'll see where it goes from here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're gonna make some more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
This
if
movie
they
did
do,
well enough. This movie did well enough. It may not do great in the box office because it's on HBO Max as well.
yeah, they were already talking about how like it didn't make that much money. But I'm like, dude, you released it on HBO Max. Like get this, but they're still focused on like how much money something made in the theaters. Like,
dude,
duh.
they spent a fuck ton of money on movies.
Well, they did. I mean, they did. But like,
Yeah,
you
this I
gotta
was
measure
just
your
looking at the movie
success.
now. This one cost them $190 million to make.
But you gotta measure your success a little bit differently too, right? If you're gonna drop something on a streaming service and the theaters at the same time, you can't just be like, oh, well, we only made this many $1 million. Well, of course you did.
So
People like me gonna be right at home with their HBO Max subscription, watching it.
So I will say this. And we had this conversation in an earlier episode too. I don't know if this movie was made like during the pandemic era, but a lot of these movies wasn't made with movies made on a streaming service is different than movies made for theater, right? And Patty Jenkins, the creator of Wonder Woman, right, director of Wonder Woman, specifically said that. Like she said, like I make my movies to be experienced in the theater, and it is different. Having that theater experience is different than having it from the home experience, and also that comes with the same as financials as well, right? With movie theaters, you have a certain amount of revenue. Theaters charge X amount of dollars to see their theaters, and the studio can get money from that. It's totally different. I'm sure they're using this movie to just drive more traffic towards like HBO Max, because I don't think HBO Max is doing well as a streaming platform, unfortunately.
Right.
So I think they were trying to. I think they're just too like specifics. And I think what you said actually makes a lot of sense too. Like people have to like judge this a little bit differently because there's a streaming platform involved, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to make the same amount of money. And also there's Omicron too, right? So
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. It's like when I see articles like that, I'm like, get out of here.
So yeah, it's definitely not gonna be Spider-Man, but then again, Spider-Man there's no streaming option for it yet.
Yeah.
And people were just like, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck Omicron, I'm gonna watch this movie. So yeah, we'll have to kind of figure that one out.
So the one thing that we didn't talk about with this movie too was kind of like, because one of the messages with this movie was also like about the metaverse too, right? So, do you choose to stay in the Matrix, or do you choose to live in the metaverse, be a part of the metaverse, or do you choose to like live outside that and, be in reality and kind of wake up and like do your own thing? Or do you choose to just follow where society is going, becoming more and more virtual? So I thought that's one of the reasons why I want to watch it too, just to see if I can get more of an idea of the message that they're trying to get out there about the metaverse too.
Yeah. What's so funny is that they actually make like Matrix NFTs that I'm sure sold for hundreds of $1,000s.
Of course.
Something. And they told us about Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves is like, I don't care. like it's like they're like no, Keanu Reeves is like, oh, they made things that I can just copy for myself, right? He doesn't get the metaverse yet. Quite frankly, I don't think anyone really gets it yet. I think we're still trying to figure out what it is. I think we already talked a little bit about the metaverse. Well, we're going to talk about it again.
Of course, we had to.
Later for that. But yeah, just freaking got some shit.
What do you got? What is that?
Just wheat bread. Need to close the bag.
Single life. This is how I know you single, man. Only a single man would have like a random loaf of bread on his desk. Not in your kitchen, not out on the table, just at your desk next to your. Oh, I mean, I eat wheat bread too, right? But I'm just saying, I don't have this shit just sitting like next to my computer screen.
I was snacking while working on something. So yeah.
Let me just snack on this loaf of bread again. Single
My
man
friends make
stuff.
fun of me about that all the fucking times. Like, you just eat the bread by itself. Like, why? Like, I was like, it's like,
I would have said the same thing.
yeah.
Why?
Why? It's so disgusting. Like, you don't put anything on it. What's funny is actually last week I was eating peanut butter and jelly on white bread, but I haven't had peanut butter and jelly for like a long time, like over a year or so. Like I haven't like just had.
I haven't had white bread in years.
Yeah.
White sandwich bread? Plain
Yes.
white sandwich bread?
I haven't had that in a while either. I've been on wheat bread. So yeah. There's more to talk about this in the metaverse.
Always, man. Real quick, did you see the new Batman trailer? Bat and the Cat.
I shared it to you on our group chat.
I mean, I saw it before you shared it, right? I just want to say it. I just want to make sure.
You didn't say it. You should have said something.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
It looked like a great trailer.
Again,
it's gonna be a really good Batman
yes.
movie. I think
still upset that they're like doing what they usually do with Batman, find a way to like, oh, we got like this version and this version, and the version that is with that exists in the universe where other heroes are is like old and decrepit, and the version that I actually want to see is off like on his own and just like regular Gotham, whatever.
That's Batman, and I think it looks like there's going to be a lot of references to Batman Year 1 and Year 2. Which I think is going to be really, really cool. They showed a part like him talking to Alfred like, "You lied to me" or whatever. So I'm assuming it has to have something to do with the Waynes and the Court of Owls and stuff like that. Which I thought was great. I think Zoe Kravitz does like a great job as this spot on as Catwoman, to be honest with you. That's a great pick right there for that role.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like Riddler. They say Penguin is not going to be in that movie long, so you kind of just make like a brief cameo.
I feel like he's going to be like an early tag for Batman. You know what I mean? Like, remember in the Dark Knight when he went and got Scarecrow again, like he was there, but he took him out.
Yeah, no, I mean, so they said that this version of Penguin is kind of up and coming, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So again, I really like what I'm seeing with this Batman. A lot of people our buddy who used to be on this podcast with us made fun of this Robert Pattinson's Batman as a Batman who sparkles.
Twilight Batman.
I don't want my Batman to sparkle. But I mean, like I said, it's all about the director and how much power they have control. And I think Matt Reeves is just going to do a great job directing this film, right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Hopefully they don't kind of fuck it up by like trying to force feed us into like the Flash multiverse. Like, let it be its own story. And yeah, I mean, again, I really like what I'm seeing with this Batman. I think it's with the Marvel movies that's been so popular and good. You see, like this has a very not a comic but very comedy feel to this. Like, this movie comes back with like this more of the grit, like feel to it, right?
Well, that's Batman. I mean, that's the style you can have. That's the style you should have with Batman, right?
Yeah.
Not the comedy.
I mean, yeah.
This isn't 1966.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like but he was kind of a comedy guy too, right? Batman initially, like Alan West's Batman was just a comedy guy, right? This is
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But, no, I mean, just the more grittier. I don't want to say darker because I think people misconstrue that, but more of a grittier, street level ish, kind of Batman, right?
Yeah.
A case study of like of individuality and kind of their mental status, right? That's Batman, right? So I'm really looking forward to seeing that film, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's going to be good. All right. It's 10 o'clock. You want to talk about end of the year? It's the last episode, last one.
Yeah. It'll take 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, I didn't do the homework that you gave. It was like pick two topics. So
Yeah. I didn't do it either. Right.
To everyone out there, Nicholas comes out and it's like, hey, pick two topics that we can talk about for the end of the year. This pro comes like unprepared. Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly what I tell my kids. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I do not do that. I do not do that. I'm kidding.
Hey, so Nicholas,
so I mean,
years from now.
Right. No, but I think the one thing that stuck out for me the one event that really stuck out for me this year is the insurrection, man.
Yeah.
That's the big one. I mean,
yeah.
You read about certain things
I don't
in
think
your
we talk
history
about it
books.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you read about certain things in your history books. You read about revolutions and wars and then now this and that. You don't think that big things are going to happen during your lifetime like that. Like you just never know. And here we are, 2021, where people are like willing to believe just straight lies and go to go to the ends of the earth to prove that man right, and going so far as to like try to as to break into the Capitol and cause all sorts of trouble. I mean, I still think about that moment, man. It's just like between that and the discussion on critical race theory and what's being taught in schools, I think those are like my two things that that's what I'll remember this year for.
Yeah. About critical race theory, let me actually pull up something on Instagram. I shared this earlier. I don't know how to. Well, I have to like. There's Instagram.
I did see what you said.
Yeah, it was about. Let me see who replied to this. Oh, here it is. All right. So this was a congresswoman posted this on Twitter a couple of days ago, right? God, tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist. Like this is just really just effed up. Her name is this Representative Patricia Morgan. So she says, I had a black friend. I liked her, and I think she liked me too. But now she's hostile and unpleasant. I am sure I didn't do anything to her except to be white. Is that what teachers and our political leaders really want for our society? Divide us because of our skin color? Hashtag CRT, critical race theory. And I'm like, how fucking out of touch are you with this?
Let me add a buzzword to the end of some bullshit so that I can get some attention. That's it. That's all it says to me.
We can have this more detailed discussion later, but so what you mentioned too are some things that I think about. Like we don't talk about the insurrection enough, to be honest with you, even though they are starting to put these guys behind bars. I think the longest sentence has been, I think, 3 years. I think the horned guy got 3 years. But a lot of people, or the woman that that flew on a private jet to the state capitol to insurrect and like live streamed her like insurrection. And she also said that she's not going to be arrested because she has white blonde hair. She's like tweeted that since I'm white and have blonde hair. She got 90 days. Oh, and she also said I'm going to use that time to get like to lose weight and get in shape because I'm going to go to jail. I might as well do that, which just kind of shows how different of a world some of these people are when they like when they go to jail, right?
Yeah, man.
It's nuts. But yeah, the insurrection is something I think about a lot. This critical race theory, especially this comment, it kind of shows that people will like act nice, right? Instead of like be nice. Like I can believe all these horrible things, like or support these horrible people, but if I act nice to somebody, then like it's okay, right? So for example, if like I'm a Trump supporter and I support Trump and believe all of his lies, and um, I'm okay with him wanting to ban Muslims, right? Wanting to give force Muslim IDs, calling African countries a shithole places, right? Right. And me being a Muslim African, right? Um, someone's like acting nice to me, like, oh yeah, I'm nice to you and we're cool and all that stuff, but you still support Trump, then like that's just a lie. You're just lying to yourself and lying to me about it, right? Like the
Yep.
act of being a friend, as opposed, but you still support someone that like denies me as a human being, right? Imagine if I support like a politician that wants to ban all white dudes from owning guns, or
I don't think
right,
one of those exists.
yeah. I mean, school shootings will go down, right? But no, but like wants to ban like white people owning guns or ban white guys or just say just very horrible, stupid stuff, right? And I
Yeah.
say, yeah, well, I support him, but me and I'm still friends with you, white friend, right? And we're still friends, and I'm nice to you and cordial to you, right? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? That's like the ultimate being a passive aggressive, right?
Yep.
It's so frustrating. So like I feel like people. He disappeared. He's
That was
back.
me. My bad.
Yeah, I feel like people just kind of act nice just to think it's okay when it's actually not. Right?
Right.
You need to have you. There needs to be some thought to it as well. Um, but yeah, there's that. By the way, the insurrection. In 7 days, it's gonna be a year anniversary of it, right?
Crazy. I
Um,
still can't believe that.
yeah, like it's amazing how time has flown this year. Um, yeah, it's been a year. it's been it's been
Yes,
a
it
year.
has.
I mean, for me personally, I worked my ass off. So
Oh yeah. Yeah,
um,
definitely did that.
this like I've always struggled with separating work from like home life, and I live alone, don't have any like anyone to like really take me out of that. So that kind of has this toughness with that. Not to say that um to say you guys who have kids have it easier. I don't think you do at all. But yeah, we all have our own struggles with that.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure, man.
yeah, so that's been kind of tough to kind of deal with, but yeah, what you gonna do, man? It's it's been a year. I would have liked to think that we'd have gotten past COVID by now, but I think it's I think it's part of our lives now. I think we're actually we're
You're
gonna have to.
dreaming.
I have to give Omar credit to this. A couple
He
when
said it.
actually we
He
were
said
talking
it
about it.
first.
Yeah, he said it's gonna be an endemic, right? And I didn't have the information now then that I do now, but like giving that information now, especially how slow we're vaccinating people, um, like yeah, it's gonna be an endemic, right? I was actually at a fitness class um Tuesday, and I actually just got a text message today that the coach caught COVID. He tested positive for COVID. Now, thankfully, while I was in the class, he was masked up. I was double masked for a little bit, but like it was really uncomfortable, so I just used a single mask, and I kind of regret not just using double mask the whole time. So I have to eventually get tested, like either tomorrow or the day. I was actually out in town. There's a COVID testing center in like somewhere in Arlington, in Boston, and the line was like around the corner. Like it was just the PRC rapid testing. Like it was just so many people just there, just getting tested.
You might as well just get you a home test, bro.
Either that or like to be honest with you, just stay home for 10 days, like and isolate, right? So
That too. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that because you could do that, right? But I would want to get tested just so they can have the information. You know what I mean? Because more information you give them,
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
you caught it, da da da, da and where you were, what you did, or whatever. Like the more information they have, then
Yeah,
the
I
better
was
better
boosted,
equipped they are to try to beat it.
and I got boosted December 14th too.
Okay.
So if I do test positive, that would be really interesting to kind of see, because the booster should have taken full effect by that day, Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
That I was in contact with that person. So I am like, I do want to get tested. I might do the PRC testing. I just don't feel like waiting in line. So
Yeah. I'm getting mine on Tuesday.
yeah. So were you around someone who was COVID, or just getting normal tested?
No, I just getting the booster. I mean,
Oh, booster, yeah. No. So yeah, I got the booster because I thought I was going to be going home for my dad's birthday after the Christmas, but we canceled that because of all the things that I
Omicron.
Omicron. Yeah, it's been a year, man. But hey, you know what? We're here. We're grateful.
We're still here. Yeah. Haven't gotten it.
Can't wait. I can't wait to kind of figure out ways that we can grow this platform a little bit more. So hopefully I'll try to make some more time to kind of really figure out. I had some ideas today about what I wanted to do. Like I really want to focus on like making our YouTube videos a little more high quality. Even though that we're streaming and whatnot, but yeah, I was thinking about getting some more. I was checking out some of the podcast lamps. There's one that costs like $200, and I was like, what the fuck? Like right now, I'm like using like a lame like bedroom lamp. But I may do that. We'll see. You might see a green screen behind me. So kind of get that stuff amped up, get a green screen, get something going, so guys don't make fun of my little dorm room that you guys keep calling it, even though it's not. It's a 1-bedroom apartment with a balcony.
It's a studio with a hot plate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I
really continue going platform.
Yeah, I really kind of want to figure out how to kind of grow and I mean, look, we've been doing this for over a year, man.
I know.
I know. Over a year.
Yeah.
Look at us.
We're still here.
Oh, one idea. Have you seen Hot Ones?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I kind of want to do one of those.
Like, we could do that. We could do that for sure. We could do that.
Ones. So
no, but I want to try to do a couple in person so we can do some more high quality videos.
Yeah,
I do have the equipment for that. So yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll do our thing.
But
I'll remove the Zoom logo for this, even though I have to like get a different version of Zoom. But yeah, my plan is to, and I told myself I was going to do this like either today or tomorrow, and I just didn't do it today. But start streaming on multiple platforms simultaneously: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time, right? Debating on getting a different laptop that is more prone for video editing and streaming, even though like my laptop I have is pretty solid. So we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Well,
what other stuff?
It's been.
Yeah, it's been.
No, I want to say it's been almost 2 hours.
Oh.
So I was about to wrap it.
Oh, it's bedtime time. Time to go to bed.
No, actually, to be honest with you, I have a script running right now for work. I need to go check it.
I am grateful I took this week of work off. Like I turned off my phone. I turned off my laptop. I was like, I don't want to know.
That's the one thing. Yeah, that's a real quick before we wrap.
Right, like last week was just tough because of like the Log4j thing that we talked about earlier, right? Like, and I was essentially like they kept like finding like little like things that we had to fix, and I fixed like the last thing, I think that Friday, and there's something else came up. It's like, can you guys look at this? I'm like, you know what? I'm just done. I think I'm done. Yeah, it was Thursday. I was like, I think I'm done. Like, you know when you get to that point. I don't know how you're working at the end of the year too, but when you get to that point at the end of the year where you're just kind of just moving the mouse, and you're just so disconnected.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am engaged and I am working very hard. I have no idea what you're talking about. I enjoy my time working remotely. I make the most of my time every day.
Uh-huh.
And
So you got a script doing a job for you right now? Is that what I just heard?
I wouldn't, hey, look, I wouldn't be an engineer if I did not have a script doing my job.
Interesting. Okay. Nice. Come back with that one. Very good. Very good. Yeah, no, it's been long. It's past this bedtime.
No, I was gonna say real quick, do you have a New Year's resolution yet?
I hate doing New Year's resolutions because I think they're just kind of a waste of time.
Or you never do them.
I mean, no one ever does them. But I will say this: one goal for me for my New Year's resolution is trying to be more proactive with like making sure like work doesn't like take over my personal life. Because there are definitely some times where it just took too much of it, right? So it's gonna be tough because I'm in a situation where like my teammate's gonna be leaving for like paternity leave soon, so I'll be taking over his work as well as doing my work. So, and like the first meeting of the year, so it's going to suck. But yeah, I need to kind of figure out some time as to how to do that, right? And it'll be a good opportunity for me to kind of just do more of that role anyway.
Yeah.
Experience. So that's good. I was reading a newspaper article just because it's kind of random. It says that the American workers are scheduled to like get major pay raises next year just because of like the economy and like them trying to retain like workers. So hopefully that's for us too. But yeah, my New Year's resolution mainly is just to kind of really have a better control of work-life balance and try to get more into a routine. That's the hard thing. Like routine has been so tough to get into. Even this week, not even working. Like there was one night where for some reason I woke up like 4 a.m. And I couldn't get back to sleep. And by the time I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna try to go back to sleep. Like around 9, I just crash. Like it's just, I'm out. And then I woke up at like 11 that day, and I'm like, shit, half my day's fucking gone. So,
dude, I would love to have a day where I could wake up at 11.
Screw you. Well,
I'm sunrise, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, one thing I might do for New Year's is to try to make. So I don't drink coffee.
Don't start.
Huh?
Don't start.
I was just thinking about starting actually, because I need to regulate my sleep. And I think those days when like say if I wake up at like 4 and just can't go back to sleep, like that coffee will like keep me going through the day, and then maybe it'll regulate my sleep going back. I don't know. So that's.
I don't know about that, bro.
You don't drink coffee?
No, not at all.
I never really got into coffee.
So. But I tried it. It was ugh.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But yeah.
Cool.
That's that.
And mine was it's funny. Mine is to try to get more sleep. To make sure I'm adequately rested. I'm doing a horrible job with that right now. And I know that's not good for me. But between that, trying to spend less time in front of screens. And then the other thing would be to making sure that I have more time for the kids too. So like this week, just like being a slow week and, finally like getting these scripts to run and all this stuff. Now I've had time to be like, hey, let's play a game. Let's do this. Let's do that. I know the kids love that. You know what I mean? So I want to try to do more stuff like that. So.
Yeah, no. That's what's up, man. Sounds good. All right. We're closing in on 2 hours. Let's go ahead and call it. No, 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 no. It's been, I think this has been an honor doing this with you for over a year. Definitely looking forward to doing this more often. Some days it's hard to just kind of even to get on here sometimes. Right? We all have our day jobs. We just have to like just shit to do, right?
Hey, you don't have to tell me, man.
But yeah, let's keep it going, right?
Of
So
course.
looking forward for 2017. I already have some ideas that I kind of want to put together that I'll be looking into a little bit more over this weekend. So excited about that. And yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool.
I'm with it.
So yeah, well, thank you guys for watching. That's us. Have a very safe and happy new year. Stay
Please
safe.
be safe. Yes.
Be safe. Like that Omicron variant does not give a shit. It's out there and it's like, fuck it.
I
Like,
don't give a shit what day it is.
it's infecting everybody. Our really good friend who's a DJ, he's gonna be DJing on New Year's Eve. He invited us, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
I'm good, dog.
I want to go, but yeah. And now with this
Listen.
like the situation where I was exposed to someone with COVID, like I have to like get tested now. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I might just do the rapid testing first, and if that comes back as negative, I may do the PCR test somewhere. So okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for watching. Peace out. See y'all next